Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 23, LeBron James, if you will.
Yes.
Which he's the greatest of all time, so maybe this might be the greatest episode of all time. Who knows?
We can only hope.
Who knows? But episode 23 of the Good Talk Podcast, the second one on YouTube as well. Make sure you go subscribe. Good Talk Pod. Yeah, well, it took me a second to remember. On YouTube. We also have Instagram now. I made that today. So it's good_talk_pod. And hopefully, my hope for that is maybe like we could post like clips of the show on there as like a little like highlight, because I know like Rogan and a bunch of other people, they do that as well and post clips to it. So that maybe it's something in the future we look at doing. But go follow us on there. Follow us on Twitter, talk_pod, all that stuff. Get right into it. So we went to the Reds game last night, didn't we, Todd? Yeah, he nods yes. He doesn't have a microphone this week. He doesn't want to be a part of the party. But then again, he can't.
I don't want that echo.
He's focused in on the technical aspect of how this podcast is now run. So, we went to the Reds game last night. It was Yasiel Puig bobblehead night. Reds, kind of. Would you say they really blew that lead, or was it kind of? I mean, it was only it was like a 3-2 lead, and then. I think that's just been the theme with the Reds. It's like they have good front end pitching, they have good back end pitching. When the bats wake up, they're really good, and they have been lately. It's just the middle relievers struggle. There's like one guy will have like a crap inning and a half and just blow the game, and I think that's one of the main issues. But I mean,
That's what happens in baseball.
Yeah, I think, and they're winning. I think they're still winning like 7-0 right now. So such as baseball. But yeah, it was a good night. I think one of the funnier things, well, there's a whole nother funny thing that we'll have to get into at a later date because of certain reasons, but you guys will find out eventually at some point. But Eugenio Suarez has homered. He homered in the first inning 3 of the last 4 games. Or no, sorry, 2 of the last 3 going into the game last night. Well, there you go. That's the story spoiled. So I lean over to my dad and I go, what's to say? I bet you he does it again. Sure enough, 2 pitches later, just launches this one to Lexington, Kentucky. And I'm pretty sure it could have went into the Ohio River if it was on the other side of the field. It was a moonball.
If it was on the left side of the field, how is that Kentucky?
Well,
it'd have to be the right side of the field.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. If he's on the other side of the plate and he's
you bend it.
No, he hit the ball a fucking long way. How's that?
I should have said that the first time.
So that was cool. So I called a home run. That was pretty sweet. Puig was doing Puig things in the outfield. He's gunning people from third, from right field. He's throwing ropes to home field or to home plate from deep right field. He's just an exciting baseball player. And it's hard not to like Yasiel Puig. It really is. Unless you're just a horrible person. Because he's just a fun guy. Is he the most fundamentally sound at the plate? No, not at all. He just tries to whack home runs every time he goes up to the plate. But he's just...
sound is overrated.
It is. It really is. Well, what's their slogan now? Let the kids play? Let them play. And he's so exciting. He gives you this electricity that I don't think very many other baseball players produce. And yeah, it was a good night. It's kind of like a whole night of celebrating the fact that we have Yasiel Puig on our baseball team, which was kind of cool. And the bobblehead was badass. It's him on a horse with his tongue out, and the horse's tongue out. What's that work?
There's another one in the house.
Well, yeah, we should have. But no, it's really sweet. Because I guess when they went to design it, he wanted it to have his tongue out on a horse with its tongue out. It's like, that's the only thing I asked. Like, all right. So there it is. So yeah, it's sitting on my desk at work, which is looking real nice next to Rufus Bobcat.
I wonder if he has a horse like Cespedes has a horse.
He probably does.
Is it like a Cuban thing?
I was just about to say, that's got to be a Cuban thing.
Like, are they like all ranch hands?
Possibly.
No,
who knows?
Cespedes is like a big cowboy.
Oh yeah, he is a huge cowboy.
He'd always come into like spring training with like cowboy hats on a horse. Like,
yeah, he literally was living Old Town Road before Lil Nas X wrote it.
Those Cuban baseball players are so much fun to watch.
They really are. They all are. Even like the pitchers are.
They're such good baseball players.
Yeah, because I think it's all about more of playing the beautiful game of baseball, and not necessarily fundamentals and being boring.
They're just playing it.
Yeah, they're just playing baseball to play baseball, and it was fun. I wanted to try and get I wanted to try and get a Yasiel Puig jersey. Now, you would think, for me, now, and the other thing I noticed in the crowd, there's a lot of bigger gentlemen, I think we could say, that were at the game. Much bigger than myself or my father. You would think they would have an abundance of selection in Yasiel Puig Reds jerseys.
I explained this to you.
Not a single one.
Earlier.
Not a single one. Not a single one. Well, no, you and your normal sizeness, you've got no issues.
I explained this to you earlier.
Well, explain it again. I need you to tell me again.
Because they're not going to wear Majestic next year.
I get that, but still.
They probably bought very little stock because they're not going to have them next year.
Yeah. Well, that's...
Because then what... Why would you buy something?
Because they are going to Nike next year.
Why would you buy a bunch of something, it not sell, and then you're stuck with it and you have to sell it for like 90% off and lose money?
Yeah.
It's exactly like the patches dilemma with me with my Tottenham jersey.
I forgot about that.
Like, it's the same thing.
Yeah. I get what you're saying, but I just don't like what you're saying.
Well, it's not the brand's fault. Majestic makes good stuff.
Yeah. But yeah,
you're over here coming at Majestic's throat like they're the ones messing it up.
Just make shit in bigger sizes. That's just in general. That's in general. Like more people need to cater to us big folk. You know, like it's not fair. Like, oh yeah, here's a 2X, but it fits fine, but you look like Zeke Elliott. It's like a belly shirt.
I don't know what that means.
It's super damn short.
A crop top?
Yeah, it's a crop top. Oh, but it's a 2XL. What? For some short fat guy? Come on.
The majority of the population is short and fat.
Well, and then the big and tall stuff fits like pajamas. Like it's stupid.
Because it's like a weird niche thing. Like
it's a weird niche, all right.
6'4" with like an average build is not
myself.
The typical body shape. It's like tall or thin. Tall and thin, or short and round. Like, that's the U.S. Like, even me, like, I have to wear it, like, because I don't like my t-shirts to be, like, super, like, snug around my shoulders.
I don't even want to hear it from
you,
I'm
just
Alec
saying,
Fraser.
like, I wear an XL t-shirt. Like,
which is fine.
Yeah,
they make plenty of extra large stuff.
My point is, like, I'm not an extra large human being. So the sizing is fucked. Like, that's
it's terrible. Well, like, okay, like, so here's the thing. I'm looking to get the new Villa jersey, the Kappa shirt, right? So I'm right now because I base them like off the chest measurements. I'm like 50 to 52 is
I don't even do chest. I do pit to pit.
Oh yeah, I'll do that too. Yeah. But 50 to 52, like that is more commonly used. That's just what I go off of. The chest size in a 4XL in Kappa and like a regular Kappa jersey is a 50.
Yeah,
so it's like a normal 2X. Yeah, exactly Italian company. So it's meant for the what's coming to go little skinny guys. Hey, what's
I don't even look at sizes. If I find a size chart that has a pit to pit, like I don't care what the size is, as long as it says like 22, like then I'll buy it. If it's less than 22, you can forget it. It's gonna be too tight.
Yeah. It's ridiculous because I bought a Carhartt long sleeve T-shirt tonight in size extra large.
Yeah, but Carhartt is a whole different story.
Carhartt fits massive.
It's a whole different.
But it's weird to go from extra large to 4 and sometimes 5XLs with some brands. Like, come on, what are we doing? Like, let's all be universal here.
Yeah, but they're all different nationalities. That's why
it just doesn't make sense. But anyway, that was a little disappointing.
We need to hold on a second. It doesn't make like. Let's just put it simple. U.S. is portly.
Oh,
the U.S. is
as obese. I noticed last night. Yes.
So, like, those rugby jerseys that you have to get like a 6X. Like those aren't big countries. Like so
right.
The sizing is not the same.
Yeah.
Like it's not every company is an American company like Nike.
And having worked for a rugby team, some of those jerseys and the big dudes wear them tight, and it's like they show everything. I'm like. Damn.
Yeah,
all right,
It just comes down to different nationalities,
right, and different cultures.
Average size for a human being. Like,
yeah,
that's all the size.
I should just live in the Netherlands. They probably have clothes that fit everybody. They're like they're the tallest nation in the world. I'm pretty sure.
Probably.
So, but no, and the and the other thing is whenever I go to sporting events, I typically I always like to not necessarily critique. That's not the right word. I like to analyze the fan experience provided by each and every team. And for the most part, most teams in a professional organization do very well. Me and Blake, we went to a Destroyers game on Sunday, the last game, and it was a great fan experience. It really was. They put on a really good show. They had a lot of really cool promotions. And for a 3:00 Sunday afternoon game, right after church, for a 1-win football team, they're drawing 9,700 people. Almost the whole lower bowl of Nationwide was full for that. For a 1-win team that got beat by 35. It's like, could you imagine if there's like product on the field? How popular that would be? But
yeah, but that's also, I mean, was it still called the AFL?
Yeah, arena football.
So they're doing all these cool promotions and stuff to get the interest built back up.
It's very much like a minor league baseball sort of thing where anything goes promotion.
Well, it's like they have to build that fan base back up.
Yeah.
So they're doing all kinds of stuff to get people in the stands, regardless.
I just think it helps football Columbus.
Yeah, 100%.
That in Ohio State.
How many Ohio State players are on the team?
One, Tyler Durbin, the kicker. But there's a lot of like the starting quarterbacks from Ohio Dominican.
All those teams probably have like local players.
There's a few Grand Valley State people. It's like all regional. It's regional what they do.
Interesting.
And that's how they kind of shaped the rock. But no, I mean it was a good fan experience. But you know, I tend to look deeper than that. I think the fan experience is what you make it as a fan. And I noticed a few things yesterday at the game that I think us as sports fans, we need to follow. So I've come up today with 10 rules, 10 basic simple rules to follow when you go to a sporting event.
Okay.
So here's number one. Number one rule, this is the main rule. You can ignore all 9 of these other ones, but you have to pay attention to this rule. No, they're not really in any ranking order. We're just going to go 1 through 10. Wear the apparel of either team playing. Or if you're not a team and you're just going for an experience, wear neutral clothing. Like, because I saw a guy with a Houston Astros jersey at a Reds-Cardinals game. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense.
All my time at going to, like, Michigan games and stuff, like, it doesn't bother me as much when it's, like, a neutral team. And I've seen this hundreds of times. Like, it's second game of the season, Michigan versus whoever, like Air Force, whatever it is.
Eastern Michigan.
And someone is in there with an Ohio State jersey on, just looking for trouble. Like, that's when it crosses the line for me. But like if it's Reds Cardinals and someone has a Tiger shirt on, like that doesn't bother me as much. But it's like when you go with the teams like rival just to be an ass, like that's when it's like
when they're not playing them.
Exactly. When you go just when it's like I said, 2 teams that are just preseason games basically, and you just show up in whatever the school's rival is just to get talked to. Like that's annoying to me.
Yeah, when you're seeking out trouble, that's when it starts. But I just think that I mean, the only exception to the rule that I think is acceptable is say you're going to like whenever I've been on vacation, we went to a Tampa Bay Rowdies game and I wore a US jersey there. I feel like that's acceptable because it's a soccer game in the US.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that stuff doesn't bother me as much.
Yeah.
Unless it's like what I said, but as far as I don't know, because I get it, you're trying to get noticed like the Marlins guy or whatever.
Oh, that guy sucks.
Like even that's like that was cool at first, and that's just turned into overkill because he goes to everything now.
Yeah, he sucks.
Like, but
it was like the John 316 guy back in like the 70s. When there was just the same guy, like big hippie haircut, and he would just have a John 316 sign. It was like it's the passage in the Bible. He'd always have it. Yeah, or yeah, it did have a rainbow on it, didn't it? Yeah. But no, I don't know. I just think, I don't know. I mean, if you're gonna like, yeah, it's like when we went to that one Blue Jackets game, or no, you guys did with Steve, and he wore the Blackhawks jersey to Red Wings, or it was Jackets Penguins or something, right? Like that.
I don't even remember. That wasn't how the apartment got broken into. I don't even remember what happened in that game.
Yeah.
but I think it was the Bruins because Stu was there.
That's right. Yeah, he's wearing a Blackhawks jersey. It's like, come on. I don't know. Maybe it's just me being. But I just think you need to pick one or the other, or wear neutral clothing.
The thing that bothers me more than anything else is, and it's not even not like a different team. And I think this is definitely a me thing, but it just annoys me, is when you go to a Michigan football game and someone's got a basketball jersey on, or a Michigan basketball game and someone's got a football jersey on. Like, they were showing all these fans when Michigan baseball was in the College World Series, and none of them had on a baseball t-shirt. It was just like a football jersey or a basketball jersey, and I'm like, you guys aren't even you don't even care about the team you're watching. Like,
right, yeah. Oh, Michigan.
That's just like,
yeah.
That's what annoys me, but...
At least,
I think that just shows, like, that's like more of like you're a fair weather fan.
Yeah.
Kind of
I get
other
that
than
argument.
like an honest fan.
Yeah. I think, at least it still says Michigan on the front. Like, you can't really fault them that much, but I do get what you're saying.
Or when someone has on like like the stupid ass Cincinnati Reds like hockey jersey, like this, like like the opposite, like not even the right sport, but it's like, you know, like a Cleveland Cavs baseball looking top, and you're like, why did you even make this? Like,
yeah, that doesn't make. That's not
those
even.
Those are the kind of things that irritate me.
That's not even close. It's
like,
not
if you
even
could
close
afford
to
to buy that, you could afford to buy
right. You can buy a jersey,
the proper
thing, which we'll get into here in one of my later rules. We'll go to number 2, and this annoys the ever living piss out of me. Show up on time for the damn game. It's not hard. Like, I hate the people who show up like halfway through the first like period, quarter, half, whatever. It's like just don't show up.
Yeah,
like it's just with me. I like being very punctual with things, like we've discussed in the past on this podcast.
I'll give someone like the first half of a first quarter or something, but after that, because it's like, you know, you could have been tailgating or whatever, but it's like after that, if you miss like the first quarter or something like that, like why did you pay for tickets? But like, because I know how like some games it's like you get caught up in security, it's like anything else.
Well, that's fine. At least you're on grounds before the game.
Yeah. So like that, I've been there before, if you're the first half of the first quarter or the first quarter, that's fine. First half of the first period in hockey, first quarter and everything else, like I'll give you that. But if you start showing up at halftime or the second quarter, like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, like, I hated those people at, like, the OU football games where they'd show up like, well, I can get in free at halftime. Come on, you cheap ass. You get in free anyway.
That's a little bit of a different situation.
No.
We're getting properly tanked at the OU games.
Well, no, it's not even that. It was like you go to halftime, you watch the band, then you go to the bars. Or if it's a good game, you stay to the whole game. But, you know, that drives me up a wall because, especially with
I don't even. We went to like one football game, and it was homecoming when we were all down there.
Well, yeah. Well, you didn't go though, did you? You didn't go to games. That's fine.
That's what I'm saying.
That's fine. Like, you didn't go. You're not showing up like super late. Then that's just stupid.
It's like if someone shows up at the halftime of the OU game, like that's way better than not going. Like the majority of the time. I
would disagree. Then just don't go. Don't go then. Like if you're, I'll just go, I guess. No, you weren't thinking. Yeah, exactly. You missed the band. Good point. The game is more than likely has been decided.
At a school like that, though, it's a social game. It's a social event.
Oh, 100%. But still, I mean, it shows a simple, basic, like it shows a basic value that you don't have. It's just being punctual.
At a bigger level, I agree, but it like OU or like Toledo or something like that, like that could be like a, you know, you text your friends, oh, where are you at? Oh, I ended up going to the football game. Yeah. And then you go over there. Like that's a different thing than like Ohio State.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's different.
Yeah, that's very true, but still, I just think it just shows
like
even
an OU basketball game. Yeah. Like that's different.
It just shows that you're not very punctual, and that's not a good value to have. But because the thing I always reference is that Blue Jackets Penguins game we went to.
Yeah, that was terrible.
We sat together for 2.5 periods, and
that was a whole different.
And halfway through the third period, the third period, the family whose seats we were sitting in, because like, oh, okay, well these seats are empty. They show, oh, these are our seats, and we literally I looked at the clock and looked at them and gave this like quizzical look.
The third
like making
period,
it obvious.
That's a whole entire. That's like taking it from here to like here.
Yeah.
Then like missing the first quarter, like okay, showing up in the third period, like that's ridiculous.
Same in my book. Show up on damn time. That's what I'm saying. The other thing to kind of go along with that is no musical chairs during the game. For fuck's sake,
Yeah, just watch the game.
Sit in your chair until there's a So okay. So like last night, wait until in between innings to get up to go get something, and then come back, and then come back down like after like I always like wait to go like if I go to get something to drink, like especially during a baseball game, I'll go in between the innings, I'll go get my drink or my refreshment or whatever, and I'll go wait until the end of the inning, and then I'll go down. It's
but that's because someone that genuinely likes what's being produced, like. If you just, and I know, like, being a sports fan, we have a different opinion, and I know that not everyone that goes to the games is a sports fan, whether it's, like, your kids wanted to go and you don't give a toss, or your husband wanted to go, or your wife wanted to go, and you just
Or it's like a business, or it's a business thing.
Yeah, like, I get it, but at the same time, there are people there that want to see the game, and you're just, like...
You're ruining for them.
You're just getting in the way.
Yes.
So and it's like, if you don't want to be there... Like, the kid thing I get, the business thing I get, but it's like, just go stand up by the bar and watch it standing room only. Don't even go to your seats.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
it's not...
There's no reason.
Yeah. Because I remember the one game... Well, it was a game we went to, the Blue Jackets game. When we were sitting behind the goal, we had really good seats, could see everything. And it was like every 2 minutes, you had all these snobby pieces of shit around us getting, oh, I'm going to get another cocktail. Oh, I'm going to get another. And it's just like up and down, up and down, up and down. And you know it's bad when that man over there starts getting angry and saying something. That's when you know it's bad. I remember you're like, hey, down in front, like a couple of times. Because like the same person got up 4 or 5 times to get whatever the who know what the hell it was.
And it's always funny how bad it is at the different sporting events.
I think Jackets games are pretty bad for that. For sure. They're really bad for that. Yeah, they're really bad.
Like, just hockey's like... And it just goes to, like, the level of person that the sport appeals to. So, like, hockey, it's a more affluent crowd, I guess you could say. Especially around here.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's not an inner city sport. So you have all these people that are like, oh, I need a cocktail. Oh, I'm going to go... to the blue line. Oh, they've paid $100 to go shop, essentially.
Yeah, that's 100% what it is.
And like at a football game, it's constant food. Like, just sit down and watch a game. I know you were tailgating all morning. Like, why are you getting chicken fingers and pretzels and shaved ice and all? Why?
That's why I'm a proponent of eating food. Like eating like if you say like you're going like, oh, I haven't eaten dinner yet, I'm going to get like a burger or something. Eat it before the game, and then you can go get like a snack in between, like to like have something to like eat on during the game.
Yeah.
Like that's fine, but it's, oh my god, it's so annoying to go up and forth, up and back, up and back, up and back. But it's like, come on.
Yeah, it's terrible.
So, but yeah, number 4, keep the liquid in the cup, man. Keep whatever drink you have. More often than not with this, it's draft beer. Keep it in the beverage container that it was provided in. If you're spilling it like a moron, then you deserve to get a sippy cup. Because
someone chucked nacho cheese in a Michigan game once.
Yeah, that's just...
Not on purpose. Like, it just can't... It just... That was hilarious.
Oh, man. But it's like...
But it's like, how hard... Like, if you're...
I got into it.
If you're going to spend $12 on something, wouldn't you want to savor every bit of it?
Right.
Like,
and even, like, we've all been drunk. We're all adults here.
I've never gone spilling my drink.
It doesn't even come across in my mind how anyone could spill a drink. It's not hard. Unless you get rammed into. Then, because that's happened to me. I've been
putting on a show.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. It just... Because I remember I got into like a bit of a verbal altercation with a Penguins fan he's just being an asshole. But the final straw for me, he spilled his beer 4 times on the same girl in front. She had this big like wet spot down, and you could tell she was furious, and no one was saying anything. So I go over, I'm like, hey buddy, that's like the 4th time you spilled that beer on this poor girl. Can you please keep control of yourself? Because I mean, you're kind of just disrespecting all of us around here. You're just being a degenerate for the most part. and we got into a little bit of a verbal spat. And it's bullshit. No, I'm gonna sit there and watch the game, but if I see some bullshit that you're doing, I'm gonna call you on it because it's bullshit.
Well,
you have to respect the fans that are around you. You have to also respect the facility around you. Because trust me, working in the field that I work in, nothing's more fucking annoying than dealing with someone who's like that.
Well,
and they're just a pain in the ass. They're a general disservice to the game that you're watching.
I don't have an issue with drinking like a beer at a game.
No, that's what it's for.
If you wanted to just get absolutely tanked and watch the game, why are you not at a bar? Like, why are you?
Exactly.
It's extremely cheaper. Like, you can have twice as many beers.
Yes.
Like, well, I don't understand why you want to just go there and make a fool of yourself.
Yeah,
It's annoying. People just want to be the center of attention. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Good or bad.
No, yeah, and it's just it just annoys me, and especially working in the industry like that, and in the facilities part of it is you deal with that stuff all the time. So whenever you go and you're a patron at an event, you just try to be cognizant of that, and just generally just don't be a degenerate.
No, yeah, I don't get it.
Number 5, it's a sporting event, people. It's not a library. People are going to yell. Like, let's be honest. So I put this point down because there is an interesting story that happened at our Reds game last night, but for certain reasons, we're going to hold off until next week to tell that story because it is a doozy. Alec, would you agree with me that this is a great story that should wait until the proper adjudication is henceforth finished?
Yeah, it's quite ridiculous.
Yeah, I'll just say this because this would be like a little cliffhanger. In all of the sporting events I've been to, I have been to everything from Columbus Motor Speedway. I've been to Villa in soccer in England. We've been to Formula One. I've been to hockey, baseball, all that. I have never experienced what I experienced at any sporting event until last night. I've never experienced anything like that. So I think it's probably the smart idea to not talk about it until everything is resolved. But yeah, so we'll leave you with that. But yeah, and that event kind of, and I've seen this at other games as well, where you have a fan who just he's like, you're yelling too loud. It's a sporting event.
It's just
what do you expect?
Like, I don't.
Again, it blows my mind that this is the mindset that people have going to sporting events.
There's just a person that they only care about themselves, and to be quite honest with you, that's a person that really doesn't want to be there.
Yeah.
Like, deep down, they don't want to be there.
And also, like, if someone really is genuinely bothering you, don't be a little tattletale bitch. And say something to the person.
How just privileged is that?
Oh, it's extremely privileged.
All these people that go to games that really just don't even want to be there.
Yeah, that's
and
just
you have
ridiculous.
all these people that can't afford to go to games.
Mm-hmm.
Like, then why are you there?
Yeah.
Like, if you don't want to go, give your ticket away.
Exactly. Give it. That's what I always.
Like, if you're gonna waste money, just give it to someone that wants to.
And this is another argument I had during like the dark days of like Villa in like the first couple years in the championship, when we go on tough spells, and like there's a couple Villa YouTube channels that I follow that they do a really great job. There's a few fans on there. They're like, well, I'm not going to show up to another game, until this is sorted out, and this is bullshit, all this and that. I'm like, really? Because you got a fan who sits there, watch every game. I watched every game of the 2015-2016 season. The season where we had 17 points and we're one of the worst teams of all time. If I can sit through that whole season, you can sit your ass through 90 minutes of a poor soccer game. If not, give me the ticket and pay for my flight. I'll go in your place.
Well, if not, just don't go.
Exactly. Then don't fucking go. Don't support. Go support Blues down the road. They love that mentality. Like, that just pisses me off when that argument is used. It's like, because you have, like you said, it shows just a state of privilege that is just not right. It's not a right to go to a sporting game. It's a privilege to go to it.
Who are they even? What are they even like? Who are they proving something to? Exactly. You already bought the season tickets.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what is not going? Like, congrats, you're an idiot.
I'm not going to renew my season ticket. All right, then I'll take it. Thanks, buddy.
Like, you already paid for it.
Yeah, it's just
done and dusted at that point.
It's such a weak mentality. I mean, you support your team through thick and thin, and you just don't be Just don't be an asshole.
I hate it when the game's not going well and you just boo. Like they're not trying. Like they're just you boo them like they're sucking on purpose.
You don't you don't boo players.
What?
You boo refs. 100% you boo. 100% you boo refs.
I've been through some shit at Michigan games. I've never booed a player.
No. Oh no.
I booed coaches. I booed refs. I've never booed players. Like
I would have booed Julian Lescott though. That's the only player I probably would have ever booed in my life.
Yeah, Jack doesn't hold grudges or anything.
Yeah, him and Fabian Delph are on my list forever. They're on my forever shit list.
He played for you guys for like a season.
Who?
Lescott.
Oh yeah, and it was like he was
get over
horrific.
It. Get over yourself.
Oh, it's just great that he got stuffed in the bin after us. Anyway. Number 6. If you're in a this kind of goes in with what I was saying earlier with the Pens fan. I had an altercation. Well, not an altercation, but you know what I mean. If you're an away fan at the other team stadium, respect the facility. And this kind of goes a lot with soccer as well. You see the videos. Was it maybe West Ham fans or another London club fan base was like destroying the toilets at White Hart Lane one time, and you have like other people like destroying facilities.
Probably Arsenal.
Probably. Wouldn't be surprised, but you know you just see that and like
no, it was probably West Ham because
West
for
Ham
whatever
are up
reason
for
they
that
think they think they're on our level. That's why they're in Group B.
They're not.
They're in Group
just
B.
Not. They're just
they're in boarding Group C. That's what they're in.
Boarding Group C.
They've been banished. Not even top level at our stadium anymore.
I've been in boarding Group C before on a flight, and it's not fun.
In New York, I was in boarding Group 9.
Oh.
And they lied to me, and they said there's no overhead space in the bin above, and the whole back of the plane was empty. They didn't check my bag just because I was a peasant. It wasn't fair.
But anyway, kind of back to our point. Yeah, just be respectful to the facility and the other patrons around, and also, you know, be loud and cheer and support for your team because, like, I respect that. If someone's gonna come all the way from Pittsburgh to watch a Pens game at Columbus, you know, they're annoying sods, but hey, I respect
Half of that stadium is not from Pittsburgh. They're from Columbus.
Correct. Those are the people I have a problem with. But if you're going to drive all the way from Pittsburgh to watch your team play, that's fine. Root and yell and support all you want.
Those people aren't the problem.
I got no problem with you.
Those people aren't the problem.
But when I have a problem is when, like with this guy, from a couple, notes ago, that I was talking about. It's just he was just being loud. He's just being disrespectful, belligerent. Just being rude to everybody around him, and you call him on it. Hey, you're just being an asshole. I respect that you come all the way from Pittsburgh to watch your team. Like, that's fair play. Like, that would be a struggle for me to drive all the way to wherever and watch my team play. But if you're going to come here, you're going to have to respect us because this is our building. It's not your building. Just like if I'm going to go to your building, I'm going to treat it and respect it with the utmost respect as well. That's what I just, again...
Yeah, but that's logical.
And not everyone is logical.
97% of the population is not.
It's not hard. I mean, is this right? Yes or no? Okay. Like, that's it. It's end of.
It just goes back to the thing about, if it's Michigan versus Eastern and an Ohio State person comes up. Like, you're only doing that. It's just like the Adidas thing I told you about yesterday. You did it on purpose. Mm-hmm. You wanted a reaction, and that's what happened.
Well, yeah, because that's an interesting story. Because that actually does kind of go into the... And because to kind of finish up that point, is like working in that industry and like having to deal with like just, assholes and just how there can be just messy and throw trash and just generally be kind of disrespectful to the facility. And again, treat it with, like we're talking about, it's like, with that sort of privileged status that you have.
Sure.
It annoys me. I mean, it's not hard to have a little bit of common decency. But anyway, go to that Adidas story. It kind of actually ties in pretty well with this. So that's an interesting one if you want to explain that.
No, it's just like, so Adidas did this collaboration with Arizona iced tea, which I thought was incredibly dumb. Anyways,
everyone knows the green tea Arizona can.
Yeah,
it's like
with
the teal
cherry blossom leaves on it and everything. The green can. So they put it on a pair of shoes, and everyone knows, like, when you were a kid, you got an Arnold Palmer or a green tea for 99 cents. Well, Adidas, in their infinite wisdom, decided they were going to go to New York City for a pop-up, and they were going to sell those shoes for 99 cents. Like, it was not, like, that was never going to be a crisis.
Yeah.
So, of course, it's New York City, so there's millions of people in that city.
Right.
It gets out that they're selling these shoes for 99 cents, and an absolute crisis goes to this pop-up shop. They had to call the NYPD.
Mm-hmm.
They got in trouble for enticing a riot. They had to escort Adidas and Arizona out of there. And it's like, that is exactly like a fan that wears rival uniforms on a non-rivalry game, or a fan from the other team that just trying to, like, you did it on purpose.
Yeah. It's disrespectful of the two brands to the
you knew it was going to happen
to the renter of that building.
And that was your plan.
Yeah.
Like, you wanted it to be that way. Like, and the worst part about it, they weren't even in a building. It was in an Arizona truck. Like a box truck. Oh, geez. So, like, you knew when it got crazy, you were just going to fuck off in your truck, and that was going to be what it was.
And then it just goes to the whole general theme is that you just inconvenience everyone. It's a big, massive riot. You got the cops out here, which you're wasting time with first responders. New York City,
like, of all the places where there's probably already not enough cops, and you've gone and done something so you can create a publicity, which it worked, but you can get a buzz on Instagram or Twitter for some stupid shoes.
It's just like, there's a better way of doing it, I would think.
Like, it's just, when people deliberately set out to cause an issue, it annoys me. Yeah. Like, when you're looking for trouble, it's annoying.
Yeah, and those are the worst kind of people.
Annoying.
And especially kind of along those lines, but then again, they don't know any better. If you're going to bring a smaller child to the game, that's fine, because that's where those formative sports memories are built, right? You hear all this time. Well, we talked about it when Andy was on the podcast. His first game at Villa was, he was like, what, 6 or 7?
Yeah.
He's asking all these questions, and his dad's like, well, for God's sakes, we shut up and watch the game.
There's an age thing, though. Yeah. Because, and everyone who knows me knows, I've been to a million football games. Mm-hmm. I did not go to my first Michigan game until 2000.
So you
everyone that knows my dad knows how much they love sports. Like, I did not go there until I was 8 years old. Mm-hmm. Might have been 7. Could have been 99. Somewhere.
That's a good age, I think, to start.
Like, you're not too young. Mm-hmm. At 8, 7, you're old enough to where if someone tells you to sit there, you're going to sit there. Right. You're not just, like, running around like an idiot. Yeah. But when I go to these games and I see, and this one really pisses me off, when they bring babies to games. Oh. It's like, why did you do that?
Well, I remember one time when we were following, it was when we followed Tiger when he won the Memorial that year. You had went up like a whole head, and we were on our way to meet you. It was like this, you went up to like second green, and we were on first green going to second green to meet up with you. There was a guy and his pregnant wife.
That's terrible.
Like 9 months pregnant wife walking around. And my dad didn't see him and kind of walked in front of him. He goes, well, I guess I don't see my pregnant girlfriend here. And
why is she here?
Exactly. Why are you here then? You know what this entails.
That's like...
Again, it's just what you just said earlier. And it's like people going out of their way to cause trouble.
There's like... There was this husband, wife, I think, they were in the same section as us. They were good people. But sometimes, I don't know if they couldn't get a sitter or whatever, but they would bring their baby to the game. And it's like... That's not only an inconvenience for yourself, because those, and
it's
I know
a lot of work.
Those people were diehards. Like, I know they were. Yeah. And that's an inconvenience for you, because I know you want to watch the game. Like, they never got up unless they had their kid with them. And it's like, first of all, if you couldn't get a sitter, why just not? Why? Like, and I know you're gonna be mad. So if you're gonna just watch the game at home. Yeah. Like, if you can't give the full
you're not
gonna
properly
I know you're gonna be upset because of the level of fan that you are. And 2. The whole section we were in was all season ticket holders that were like, and this is before they did the shakeup I told you about earlier. Mm-hmm. But it's like, they were all like into the game. So everyone, and obviously me, my dad, and everything is into the game. And getting up and moving, doing with baby things, like, that's annoying to everyone around you. But more importantly, like, those loud noises, that's not good for the baby. No. Like, if you have to go somewhere and put big giant headphones on your kids so they don't, like, blow their eardrums out when they're 2 or 1, like, why are you at the game? Especially at a stadium that has 115,000 people in it screaming.
Where it's gonna be loud.
Like, that's just ridiculous. That's ridiculous. that's not good parenting.
Because the other issue is like then again it's you have the parents out of the flip, right, where they care more about the game and maybe less so about little Timmy or Susie.
Yeah, and then the kids just run around being annoying.
Yeah, and I have lost count of how many small childs, there we go, that's a new word for you, of small children that I have almost just leveled, absolutely leveled walking into. I'm like, oh, sorry.
The other one
Johnny.
though is like when you spend the money to take the whole family and then you just leave at halftime because you're so pissed at the kids. It's like it could have been avoided. Like
that is so. Oh my god, that is so true. Why even come?
You spent $500 in tickets, chicken fingers, and souvenirs, and you left at halftime.
Yeah.
Like,
or
that's
because
ridiculous.
Like I want to go home now. Like real.
You know what?
I'm gonna be that dad. Like, no, you're gonna sit there in your seat until this game is over.
I vividly remember, like, it might have been the second game I ever went to. It was against like Indiana, and I was like, and Michigan was killing them. It could have been like 50 to 10 or something, and I was like, I want to go home. And I don't even think my dad said anything. He just looked at me, and I was like, "Okay."
Well, there's that answer.
We're just gonna sit here. I had my football, which I think I still have that football.
Oh, is that the old shit?
The little blue football.
Oh, Jesus.
That was my first souvenir I ever got at a Michigan game, I think.
It was a little football.
I just sat there and I was like, "All right,
well,
this is perfect.
This is exactly what I wanted."
Yep.
No, yeah, but even so, just keep. The other thing that annoys me, like, I know we say, like, be loud and rambunctious, and, like, let your kids be loud and rambunctious everywhere, root. Just don't give me a blood-curdling murder scream, dude. Oh, no, my
he's having
God. Those are the worst, because then it's like, then my eardrums get blown out.
No, because I'm 25 or 26, and I've still, something good happens, I still do that, so... I can't fault kids for doing that.
But you know what I'm talking about.
Oh,
like,
I know,
like
and
the
I've
loud,
done it.
like, no, but you're like, ah! Not like when you're purposely screaming bloody murder.
Purposely?
Yes, because I've seen
kids
do it before. Out of
pure reaction, I've had some blood-curdling screams. When Jordan Poole hit that shot and I ripped my pants, that was blood-curdling. That's what that was.
No, but it's not like the super high-pitched ear-piercing one.
It was pretty close. It was pretty close.
But at least you're not like doing it every 5 seconds. So.
That's true. Depends on the game.
The other thing, which this has kind of come especially into effect with the NBA recently, if you're sitting close to the field and you're gonna talk shit to a player,
talk about privilege.
Expect a reaction back.
Yeah.
This is not a zoo.
That's ridiculous.
If you go to try and pet the lion, it bites your hand off. That's your own damn fault. Which is a whole
other thing. Like, and I've kind of and this is a whole other can of worms, but it's like, and I know if you say it, people are like, "We're getting paid millions of dollars," but to be honest with you, like,
everyone goes through their own shit.
Well,
so
professional sports, it's like professional sports. It's such a weird thing. It's powerful, but it's so weird because it's like it can bring people together. It can make a person's day. It can ruin a person's day. It can divide people. Like when you break, like was that a Warriors front office member?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So to me,
no, he was a minority he's a minority owner in the
he was involved
Warriors.
In it. Doesn't matter the title.
Is still minority owner, big deal.
That shows like almost like a slave mentality. It's like
100% on a slave mentality.
It's so fucked up. It's like I own this team. I can do what I want.
Right.
I own this team, and essentially I own you.
Yeah.
Like that's so messed up.
Yeah. That would have been against the Raptors.
Yeah, because who did he push?
Kyle Lowry.
Was it Kyle Lowry?
Yes, it was Kyle Lowry. No, yeah, that was, I forget that guy's name, but yeah, no.
Those front office, or those front row seats, like, I don't even know why anyone would want to do that.
It's always funny to watch, because you have Drake, Jay-Z, Drake, Jay-Z, old white couple with money, Beyonce, like, it's just so funny. It's so funny. Is this a video of it or no? Or oh no, this is just oh, is that a statement? Go up? Yeah. Mr. Stevens' behavior last night did not reflect the high standards we hope that we hope to exemplify in an organization. We're extremely disappointed in his actions, and along with Mr. Stevens, offer sincere apology to Kyle Lowry and the Toronto Raptors organization for this unfortunate misconduct. There is no place for interaction between fans or anyone and players at an NBA game, and you can star that and say any game at all, because you also see that. I mean, we saw that with how over the top it could get. I know I keep going on and on about it, but the Birmingham Villa game this year, you had a guy who had so much hatred for one player in his body who was willing to run onto the field and just punch him in the head from behind and miss.
Yeah, that's a whole different, like, that's a person that, like...
I don't, like...
Like, alright, so...
I can get angry and hate
that's
players.
Absurd. Like, that's ridiculous.
But that's
a person that ran onto the field. Like, that should not even be, like, a player should not have to worry about that at all.
Right.
So, for me, if I was in the stands and a player fell on me, I'd be like, oh, this is fucking sweet.
Even if it's oh my god, I hate this guy, but this is still awesome. I'm going to help him up. Like,
I'm covered in LeBron sweat. This is so badass. But like other people, like and other people are like, oh, what the fuck? Like they push.
Yeah.
Like so, like that one, and obviously the Warriors.
See,
guy,
like
the Warriors guy is different because he did it on purpose. Like he wasn't the one that got fallen on. But like when the player goes into the stands, like that's a spur of the moment thing. So sometimes I can kind of see like where things get like misinterpreted.
Heated. Yeah.
But like that dude with Grealish, that was just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
A player should not have to worry about being on the place where where he and his teammates and his opposition are the only ones that they're supposed to be out there.
Yeah.
And a fan is not supposed to be out there, and he gets through. Like that's completely fucked. But like falling into the stands, like I said, that can kind of get misinterpreted, and then somebody pushes or something like.
Like I would think, even though I think it's universally a fact that everyone hates Draymond Green. But if I'm sitting front row and he's coming at me to dive a ball,
I'll push him.
No, and I'm gonna help him up a little bit. I'm not gonna be an ass. Yeah,
like,
exactly. Yeah, because you don't want to be that guy.
That's just stupid. Well, I don't. It's not an actual hate. It's like a.
Right.
It's like I just don't like you.
Like, you kick too many people in the nuts.
It's a
sports hate.
Sports hate.
Hate,
sports hate.
Like
sports hate and real hate are two different things.
I don't hate Draymond Green because of who he is. I hate him because of where he played college basketball. Like, I don't hate him because he's Draymond Green. Like, there's a difference.
Oh, that's true. Number 9, and this one can kind of be up in the air. This one, you can't really enforce it this hard, because I know with certain restrictions that people might have, this is probably very hard to do. I think, but if you're a diehard fan, like I'm a diehard Villa fan, Blue Jackets fan, Reds fan, U.S. soccer fan, such and such, I'm going to splurge and buy the proper shirt. Because like. It doesn't annoy me as much as some of the other, but when you walk around, you see a guy in like a really, really bad fake Blue Jackets jersey, like it doesn't fit him right, and it's like really. Now I get like
the only time a fake jersey is acceptable is in college sports, because you can't buy them with the name on it.
Right? Yeah. That makes sense.
Like my Shea Patterson jersey is fake, but I can't get one that actually says Shea Patterson.
Yeah, because of the whole NCAA rights thing. Yeah. So that's. But and I will say, I think buying a fake jersey is okay.
It's an art form, though.
Correct.
Do you know how many fake jerseys I have from China that don't look fake?
Yes, that's my point. If you're gonna go down that route, because we all know not everyone can spend hundreds of dollars on
don't
jerseys.
Just click buy the first one you see.
Exactly.
You gotta look at the pictures.
Correct. Yes, Alec Frazier. This is what you do.
You gotta look at it.
Right. Yeah. Because not everyone can spend all the money on the jerseys that we can, right?
Some of those Blue Jackets ones were rough, man.
Oh yeah,
Jesus.
it's like come on, you have the message to sell. Yo, can I see a picture of this? Does this look whacked? Does this look like okay?
Those
this could pass.
So bad.
There are some. It's like the font's like not even close to being right.
Like the collar is here, and then the name was like.
Yo, yeah, because
those were so bad.
It was so. I'm like. You know, if you're gonna go down the road, that's fine, but don't make it obvious because then you're gonna get outed.
Yeah, no, it's terrible.
Yeah, no, because like you have that Ovechkin one that You know,
it looks real.
You can hang that up
like,
on. You can hang that up in the.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not anymore. Maybe in the Reebok jersey
that
days.
Ovechkin one, like it looks better quality than the one I got for Christmas like years ago.
Yeah.
Like it looks so much better.
Yeah, like in the Reebok jersey days, you could hang that thing up on the rack and no one would know any better.
No, not at all.
No, yeah, because
that was free. Shout out Alex Bush.
Yeah, that was. He did get that free.
Yeah.
That's right. But yeah, no, I think
I still have that.
Yeah, you just look goofy. I mean, yeah, I get, yeah, but like you said, it's an art form to find it. You have to find the right one.
There's only been one fake jersey I ever bought, and like when I was buying all those ones from AliExpress, that I like opened it up and was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, what?
And it's just
were you
like,
drunk when you made this?
That's the only one. There was only one time.
I bought a really good Giannis Antetokounmpo Bucks jersey, fake one, for like $10. That was a really good one.
The one that was really shitty for me, it was like when they first hired Jim Harbaugh, I bought like a number 4 with his name on it.
Yeah.
But the picture they had on the website made it look like it was like one of those old like Champions ones with like the big holes in the jerseys.
Yes, like the mesh jerseys.
Yeah, like the old school
Yeah.
And it just wasn't. And I was it wasn't that like it was shitty. It just wasn't what I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah.
So the picture was kind of deceiving.
Right.
But it wasn't even that bad. It's not what I thought it was.
Yeah, it was just you're like, oh damn it.
Yeah.
And then the final one, and this you can kind of carry over to pretty much anywhere. Like when you're ordering food, you're at the checkout, especially in line at the airport, but if you're in line at the stadium with how heightened security measures are nowadays, be prepared. Like look at the sign. What do you need to take out of your pockets? What do you not need to take out?
Or just don't argue.
Yeah, exactly. Or just read the sign, do what you're told, and have your tickets out ready to be scanned. Don't be fumbling around. There's a long line to get into sporting events. You got plenty of time.
Right. Get
everything sorted beforehand, because then you're going to cause delays and you're going to cause backups. And then, again, you're going to inconvenience everybody else. So just be prepared. Have everything ready. Have everything out to be metal detected and checked.
And that's anything else. It's like the people that want to argue at TSA at the airport. Like, why are you arguing?
Get in the bin, those
Just
people.
take your socks off and shut up.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're ruining everything. You're making everyone else like suffer because you don't want to take your flip flops off.
I will say the annoying thing is that there's no consistency between the airports. Like some want their laptops just in the bag, some want them out in the thing, some want shoes on, some want shoes off, some want belts on.
Do you remember that guy last year on our way to Boston that would not take his sandals off?
Oh,
and he was like yelling
sucked.
at the TSA, and I was like, dude, really? And he was saying stuff like, "You can see my feet." That is not the fucking point.
That's not the point.
Like, just take your sandals off and go through the thing.
Do what you're fucking told.
And it's always way too early for that nonsense. Like, just shut up and do it.
Yeah.
God dang.
Like, I haven't had my Red Bull / coffee yet. You need to not be doing this right now.
Or when someone gets, like, their pocket knife confiscated at a sporting event.
Or when you somehow manage to sneak a pocket knife into a sporting event like you've done multiple times.
Like I said, you got to be prepared. That's all it is. You just gotta hide it behind your phone in your hand, and you're cool.
That was so funny.
And I didn't even do that on purpose.
We walked into a Blue Jacket game, and this was after you got off work, and you saw you saw his knife on me. He goes, "Oh shit, I have my knife on me!" Right when we're about to walk through the metal detector, so he just hit it in between his phone and his wallet.
They were like, "You can have your phone in your hand," and I just was like, I put it like right here, and I was like, "Yeah, it's cool."
Yeah, like totally non-purpose. Like, oh shit, I forgot to take this out. Like, oh, all right, well,
they weren't confiscating it. That's for damn sure.
Well, hey, we were protected in case any shit went down that Blue Jacket.
I also saw that there's some sporting events that are like have like a code check now, but like for stuff like that. So like if you have your pocket knife or whatever, and you forgot you had it, you can just pick it up into the game. They don't just like take them and throw them away.
And I think even if they would have saw that, they would have been like, I didn't know I had this. Yeah, I mean, I think it's again, it's all context.
Yeah,
context is key, right, Dan? Yeah, thumbs up. All right, yeah. So there you go. Follow those 10 simple sports rules, and everything will be okay. Everything will be fine. You'll have a great experience. Also, have fun. That's the main one, right? Always have fun.
Well, that's dependent on the outcome.
That's very true. Although, even though the Reds did lose and there was a bit of a sour end, overall I thought it was a good day. It was a good day down in Cincinnati with that Reds game. But anyway, moving on to some current events. Oh, Donnie boy, what have you done this week? Oh God, he just sucks.
He was trying to backpedal out of it.
Oh, big time.
With the Rocky thing.
Yeah. So now, yeah, even if he gets ASAP Rocky out of Sweden, he's still on the shit list for everybody. So I think everyone by now has heard of the.
I was ASAP Rocky in.
I'm gonna sit my ass in jail. Get someone else. Get Biden. Get AOC. Get somebody.
Get out of my face.
Yeah, get out of my face, you toupee wearing asshat. So here you go. This is his racist tirade that he claims to not be racist. So, it says, well, that's really small. I can't. Hold on. Oh, there it is. So it's so interesting to see progressive Democrat congresswomen, and of course he doesn't name names, but we all know who he's talking about.
Her.
Yeah, at them, bro. Come on, weak shit.
Right.
Who originally came from countries whose governments are a complete and total catastrophe, the worst, most corrupt, and inept anywhere in the world. I don't know why I went Australian at the end.
If they even have a functioning government at all.
That was such a bad Donald Trump accent. Holy shit. If they have a functioning government at all. Now, loudly, next tweet, which is the one right below, loudly and viciously, or actually, no, that's fine. I'll just lean it. Viciously telling the people of the United States, the greatest and most powerful nation on earth, how our government is to be run. Why don't they go back and help fix their totally broken and crime-infested places? I'm sorry, this is just absurd that this is coming from a president. Infested places from which they came. They come back and show us how it is done. These places need your help badly. You can't leave fast enough. I'm sure that Nancy Pelosi, which she's not afraid to say his name,
right, or
her name, sorry, would be very happy to quickly work out free travel arrangements. Now, I was speechless when I saw this making the Twitter rounds. I'm like, this is a sitting president of the United States telling his fellow coworkers to go back to the country where they came from because their governments are so bad that they should be fixed. Am I not? I mean, is it? I really don't know what to kind of say about this.
What was really like more shocking to me was when, and I get it, kind of, as far as like the checks and balances, but when they had to have a vote to say that he was wrong, that really pissed me off. Like, you have to have a congressional vote to say that those were totally inappropriate comments. Dude, and it wasn't a landslide. Like, you had people that voted, yeah, it was fine. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, sure, Donald. I'll say whatever you say.
Like, that's so ridiculous.
Yeah, a little puppet.
A president comes out and says those kind of things, and you have to sit there and be like, well, is it fine that he said that? Is it fine? No. Like, come on.
It's not hard. It's not hard.
Like, you're supposed to be diplomatic.
Yeah. Then here.
And if we're at it, like, honestly, go back to where your ancestors came from.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's that simple.
Oh, actually, yeah. Go to that video, and then we'll go into the other tweets. Yeah. So then he comes out saying, well, hold on.
No, he didn't.
Well, yeah, it's muted right now. No, you did. Go back to the beginning. This is what he dead ass says this. I can't believe he actually says this.
When your supporters last night were chanting, "Send her back," why didn't you stop them? Why didn't you ask them to stop saying that? Well,
because you're an orange twat. That's why. No, you didn't.
I disagree with it, by the way.
No, you don't.
It was quite a chant, and I felt a little bit badly about it.
A little bit, but he felt a little bit. He only felt a little bit badly, guys. It's okay. We can accept his apology. Fuck off.
And obviously and importantly, Omar has a history of launching vicious anti-Semitic screeds.
3, 4, 6, 7.
That's pandering.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 seconds. Someone put a video today of like some guy solving a Rubik's Cube underwater in less time than it did for him to start saying something before.
He didn't even say anything about them stopping. He just continued what he was saying.
It's amazing how
he stopped so the racism could take center stage. Like, are you fucking serious?
It's amazing. To
Like,
me.
that is
it's
outrageous.
Because he also...
A president of the United States stopped his speech to let racism take center stage. Are you kidding me?
I mean, it's
that
just
is
absurd.
Nazi-level behavior.
It's fascist is what it is. Because I think Nev Schulman, the guy who does Catfish,
like,
he had a picture of Donald Trump, and next to it was a definition of a fascist government. And it was to a T what happened at that rally. To a T what happened. It's just amazing.
Those rallies are like Hitler rallies.
I didn't think, like...
The only thing it's missing is, like, just the... And honestly, it's the same thing as... It's like the same setup. With Hitler, you had the swastikas and the red flags and all that horse shit. With Trump, you have American flags and Trump pent signs. It's the same thing.
Oh, don't forget the MAGA hats.
Yeah, well, that all is the same. It funnels down.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's the same exact shit. Like,
and then he's got another tweet here. We will never be socialist or a communist country. If you are not happy here, you can leave. It is your choice and your choice alone. This is about love for America. Certain people hate our country. You're the president of the United States, and that is what you are. That is the message you are sending. You are sending that message. You can try and go back and spin zone that however you want, but that's out there. That's out there for public record to see. That this is what you're saying. You can't hide behind this facade for long.
Well, the long and the short of it is, as a businessman, when you fuck up, you can go bankrupt and restart. You can't do that now.
Yeah.
You can't bail out and have a fresh restart.
Mm-hmm.
You are committed to what you have going on.
Yeah.
And I mean, to be quite honest with you, it's like when you look back at things in history, Hitler was a terrible person, but I'll be damned, he was a hell of a public speaker. He got the people behind him.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing.
Before he went,
he's not bailing on his base. That's for damn sure. That's called going down with the ship. That's what that's called.
Before he went all crazy, he won Times Man of the Year because he single-handedly brought Germany out of being a third world country after World War I.
It's insanity.
And then he just turned south.
He didn't turn south. It was part of the scheme. He's been south
since the beginning, right? And then you have these couple tweets from him as well. Those tweets were not in capital letters racist. I do now have a racist bone in my body.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. The so-called vote can be taken is a Democrat con game. Republicans should not show their weakness and fall into their trap. This should be a vote on the filthy language, statement, and lies told by the Democrat congresswomen. Again, doesn't mention their names, but we all know who he's talking about.
Honestly,
this is a president who subtweets like a high school girl.
It's like in Seinfeld when George Costanza, because George always is about how good of a liar he is, and he's like, the key to lying is if you believe it's not a lie, it's not a lie. So he honestly believes all of his own shit.
Yeah. And then a congressman who I truly believe, based on their actions, hate our country. That's just not true. Get a list of the horrible things that they have said. There you go, name. Omar is polling at 8%, Cortez at 21%. Nancy Pelosi tried to push them away, but now they're forever wedded to the Democrat Party. See you in 2020. And I guess just for whatever point we made, this doesn't seem real. The office is a joke. The office of the president, at least for the next couple presidents, is going to need some serious cleaning up to do because he's just left it a mess. Like we always say with this, the policies and stuff, I'm not a politically smart person. I just know who's a douchebag and who's not. And this guy is. You don't have to be
a political genius to figure out what's going on is not right.
Take policy out of it and just take sheer morality. And the morality is gone. It's been gone.
He doesn't care about anything but dollars. That's really all it is.
Yeah.
Himself and dollars.
And I'm not gonna lie. I think it's an everyone problem. It's a whole politician problem. This has just been the pinnacle of it.
What? Well, that's
not like the Democrats are any more squeaky clean than he is.
You're right, but at a certain point, it's called being politically correct. And even though sometimes they're assholes, for example, no matter how big of an asshole typically a politician is, if the women's national team is doing well, they're not going to say that they're stupid and that they're like the worst team in the world.
Right.
Like, that's not supposed to happen.
No.
Like, so no matter what you think about the players on the team, or no matter what you think about their style of play, you're supposed to be like, oh, they won the World Cup. Congratulations. Not Rapinoe is trash or all this other shit. Like,
right. And then have like a congratulatory tweet written by a presser or a press intern. Come on.
It's just ridiculous. Yeah. It doesn't. And you have to be diplomatic to be president. And he doesn't know how to. He doesn't know the definition of that word.
And it's just because what scares me is you have something like 40 some people trying to run for the Democratic ticket next year in 2020. I'm sorry, but at one point you got to find a guy.
Exactly.
Whether it be Joe Biden, whoever it is, I don't give a shit. You got to find a candidate who can go out and win.
It's not even that.
You have to find someone who can win.
You can't do anything you can't have anything with 40 people. Like you're gonna have
too many
everyone,
cooks in the kitchen.
Exactly. Like you can't have more than like 3 people. Or even 2.
Right.
Like have it go between 2 and like figure it out, not between 27.
Yeah.
Like that's never gonna work. That's just so dumb.
So
I don't understand.
Yeah.
I just don't understand it, to be honest with you.
Me neither.
Like, I get everyone wants to be president, and I get that Donald Trump being president just proves to everyone, oh, I can be president. Like, I get it. But at the same time, not everyone's meant to be president.
Right. So, just to wrap it all up, just go vote next year, please. Get this asshole out of here. I don't even care anymore. Next, moving on. Now, I know we talked a little bit last week about the Rich Energy Haas F1 debacle. But now it has gotten even more juicy since the last time we talked about it. Apparently, you sent me a thing that the guy, Story, I forget his first name.
Duck Dynasty?
Yeah, Duck Dynasty looking guy. James Story, or William Story, that's it. The founder of Rich Energy, their Twitter is still going off. It has sold a majority stake in the legal entity of Rich Energy Ltd. to a third party. This was in discuss at conduct of duplicitous minority stakeholders.
Yeah, I saw that. They were just throwing giant words in there for no reason.
In the words of Schwarzenegger, he'll be back. And it's a picture of him with old Bernie Ecclestone. And then the next day, there's a tweet of just a bunch of lightning bolts called "Coming Soon," which apparently was in reference to them being called Volt Energy from now on.
And I thought it was something worse than that. No, doesn't it talk about it? Go up.
Yeah.
It's something dumb. It's like Lightning House.
Is it on the?
Or something?
Is it on? Is it on me still, Todd, or is it on the tweets?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, scroll down a bit. Go to the one where you see like the lightning bolt picture. That picture with. Yeah, there you go. So it says right there, coming soon. Yeah. Because I guess they're going to be called Volt Energy, is what I heard.
Keep going down, Tom.
Yeah. I mean, it's just.
I saw an article that said what they were going to be called.
Yeah.
It wasn't that.
Yeah, it could be. It could be some. And then go back above the lightning bolt picture. Sorry. Yeah, there we go. That one. So now it says Red Bull are taking Williams' story to court. A cynic might see a pattern emerging with all these hashtags. Hashtag Rich Energy. Hashtag better than Red Bull, which I doubt. Hashtag Williams story. Hashtag business intelligence, which is what they don't have. And it is what this looks like is is this a subpoena? Or what? Yeah, what is this called here, Dad? I'm not. Is it just a?
I'm sure it's in.
Yeah, it's a bunch of legal jargon here. It pretty much says a brief summary of the dispute. The claimant alleges trademark infringement against the defendants in relation to their use of identical and similar signs identical and similar to the claimant's well-known trademarks Red Bull and Gives You Wings in advertising for energy drink.
Lightning Volt Limited.
Lightning Volt Limited. That's a terrible name.
That's a disgusting
That's
name.
a terrible name. But no, so pretty much now Red Bull is taking Rich Energy and William Story, the former CEO, to court. which then prompted the tweet the next day. If you want to go back and scroll up to the picture of Christian Horner and Helmut Marko. Yeah, scroll up to the two Red Bull guys. Yeah, that one. So it says the head of Red Bull Racing, Professor Helmut, with Mr. Ginger Spice, because he's married to Ginger Spice of the Spice Girls, Jerry Halliwell, I think is her name, or her last name. Hearing news regarding Mr. Story, the world's leading energy drink is Rich Energy, better than and it's just all this, like, again, talking shit. So it still seems like, yeah, and that's kind of all the tweets that have been.
I'm gonna be honest with you. When I first looked at this page, I thought it was like a parody page.
Me too. Well, I was just about to say that. It looks like a parody page, but it's the. Yeah, it's the real thing, and what just amazes me is it looks like there's literally two different people on two different sides of this argument tweeting back and forth at each other.
Yeah, it's super weird.
It's so strange, and it's like, and I guess now Haas is being involved in a lawsuit now, and they're slowly starting to get more and more dragged in with this, which is not what they need after the season that they've been having.
Well, why? To be quite honest with you, if Haas wants to, like, why would you get yourself involved with Tin Pot like that?
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
like,
are you that desperate for money?
Like, that's outrageous.
Yeah.
You're trying to tell me that there's nobody else that wanted to sponsor your car? Come on.
Yeah. Come on. You're America's F1 team. You can brand the shit out of that, and you can get so many of the big names over here of the Fortune 500.
You could get an American company on the car.
Exactly.
Like, you had to rely on some energy drink company that's bottled in the shed.
Because,
like,
to be honest, it's not like it's like a Williams car. It's a decent car. Like, it's not like it's
clearly it's not.
It's not like a scrub, but they're not like a scrub team. Like, there's things to get behind on this team if there's the right financial backing. They could push further up.
You said Haas was going to be sick last year, and that didn't work.
Right. Well, they were. Trash. You looked at the pace. They were 5th and 6th. They're behind all the big teams.
Trash.
I'm just saying there's something there for a big American company.
Trash.
I get
their drivers are trash.
I get that. Magnussen's all right.
Trash.
Roman Grosjean is not long for this world. I feel.
If they have the pace to be up there in qualifying, that just doesn't disappear.
Right.
Like, the car.
Apparently it does
suck.
with them. Yeah.
They are a terrible team. They have terrible drivers, and apparently they have terrible management, because I don't know why you would get in, like. Listen, for all of this to happen with Rich Energy, there had to be, like, some signs when they showed up for the meeting, like, to sponsor the car.
Yeah.
Like, I would have said, and this means nothing, but, like, if a CEO of a company walked up to me looking like Duck Dynasty, and the company wasn't Duck Dynasty, I'd be a little concerned. Like, for real. Like, that's the guy, like, when you go to a meeting like that, you want to see clean cut. Especially in, like, F1. Like, it's such a prim and proper thing. And you got some dude whose beard's longer than my hair. Like, for real? Like, you had to know that was going to be a problem. So that's your fault.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's like, how many racing cars does Haas have between him and NASCAR?
Oh, he has a lot.
You're trying.
I think he's got like 4 or 5 in NASCAR.
Who sponsors the NASCARs?
One is sponsored by Haas. Like, one's the Haas Automation one. I think there's a Monster one. There's a bunch of other different ones.
Why does it not say it on the F1 car? They could sponsor their own car.
Well, they did last year.
Yeah, why did they stop?
Looking to get more money, I guess. And then that goes back to, like, all the Fortune 500s and stuff here in America that would kill to be in like the market that Formula One has, and they don't go to them. That's an easy in for them.
Yeah, I don't know. That's
it doesn't make sense. But anyway, kind of finishing up on something positive. Saw this today that Top Gun Maverick, the trailer was released. Yesterday? Tom Cruise tweeted it out. Yeah, yesterday, and it just looks awesome. It looks so awesome, and I think. I think I kind of came into the Top Gun lore a little late, but yeah, no, I think it's just going to be awesome, because I think Tom Cruise just played that role so well. Val Kilmer kills Iceman in the first movie. He just does.
Yeah,
he really does. No, but yeah, the trailer looked really good, and apparently, like, there's footage of them like taking off of a carrier and flying them. They're flying F-18 Super Hornets, which is like it's like the air superiority fighter that's carrier based for the Navy. So
Yeah,
it's only on carriers. They're not on the ground
the Navy
that much.
Fighter jet.
Yes, pretty much. Like how the standard one was the F-15, the F-16. It's the F-18 for the Navy, just because it's carrier based. So they're flying those, and a lot of the flying and takeoff scenes were real. It's Tom Cruise flying the plane. He said that's what they said in it, because they wanted to make it as real as possible. Now, he does own a P-51 Mustang. I get it. It's a World War II prop fighter, not even close to the same speeds. But still, look at that. That thing is gorgeous, by the way.
Like, do you
That
even
thing is
know
awesome.
like how much flight time you have to have as a pilot in the Navy to take off from an aircraft carrier?
Well, you know Tom Cruise and how intense he gets with it. He probably did it.
That's so not the same thing.
Still, he's a crazy bastard. He'll do it. Look at him.
Not the same.
Look at him there flying his plane. How badass he looks. Come on, it's Maverick, for fuck's sake. Maverick in a World War II fighter. How awesome
Tom
is
Cruise
that?
Sucks, to be honest with you.
No, he doesn't. He's a little
like,
goofy. I'll give you that. The whole Scientology thing is weird.
I think Tom Cruise sucks.
But look at that. That is just a gorgeous airplane.
That doesn't have anything to do with taking off from an aircraft carrier.
They said that those were real, and that most of the actors in there actually like spent time behind the controls of an F-18.
There's a little bit of a difference, and I know you can agree with me whether you want to believe it or not. There is a difference between throwing an actor in a tuned up Toyota Celica and putting him on the street than throwing an actor into a multi-billion-dollar jet-powered fighter jet.
I will agree.
Like,
but hey, I mean, prove it to me then. I'm an open book.
Same thing to you. Like,
I'm an open book then.
Like, it just.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know how much not only money, but like, and I know the first movie.
Could you imagine the insurance policy on that?
Exactly.
Holy
like,
shit.
it just doesn't add.
It's insane.
Either those aren't actors, or there's so much like the budget on this movie is outrageous because. And where do you even get?
It's a really good mask.
Where exactly?
Really good
Like, where
mask.
do you even get like 4 or 5 F-18s that they just don't care if they get damaged? Like, they still use that plane.
Yeah, but I guess
It's not decommissioned.
But when they start phasing it out for more F-35s?
Yeah, but they still use it. Like,
Fair,
they
I
don't
guess.
just put those in the hands of randos. Like,
Right. Well, then again, they could be. What they could be, and what I would think would be more, is they could be like trainer jets, but then they CGI to make them look like F-18s on the outside.
regardless, that's
If
fine,
that's what they wanted
and
to
that's
do.
probably right. But like,
But still, you're taking off of an aircraft carrier and flying,
yeah.
which is still
That's what I'm
damn
saying,
impressive as a
like-
Hollywood actor.
Well, I want to look up the school time it takes for a pilot to get like their wings for the Navy.
Oh yeah, like flight school for
And-
the Navy.
And I know that Tom Cruise did not go through a flight school for the Navy for this part. I know that didn't happen.
Let's just see here for a Navy pilot.
And it's like I've read some comments or whatever, and it's like even if he was actually in the air like the Navy, there's no. How old is Tom Cruise?
He's in his 50s now.
They would not let someone that old fly a fighter jet in real life. That's a liability. Eyesight, like reaction time, like the whole thing. That just wouldn't happen. That's why at the beginning I was like, "How are you still doing this?"
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like that's like that just goes against everything that.
Okay, here we go. So, path to becoming a fighter pilot. Part of an elite group of soldiers, fighter pilots in the United States military help serve to protect the air. Fighter pilots serve in the Air Force, Navy, Marine Corps, and fly a variety of aircraft, including the F-22 Raptor, the F-16 Fighting Falcon, the F-18 Super Hornet, which is in this new movie, the F-15 Eagle, AV-8B Harrier, and the A-10 Thunderbolt. Both active duty, they're missing the F-35 there as well. Both active duty and reservist soldiers can become fighter pilots. The path to becoming a fighter pilot follows several steps and involves an intensive specialty training. Join the Air Force, Navy, or Marine Corps as a commissioned officer. Commissioned officers each must be at least 18 years old, a United States citizen, and hold a 4-year civilian or military bachelor's degree.
Just get to the flight school part.
Attend officer school. For the Air Force, the officer school covers 12 weeks and takes place at Maxwell Air Force Base in Alabama. Naval pilots must take place in officer candidate school located in Rhode Island. Marine pilots are in Virginia. Pilots can also fulfill officer school requirements by joining a college-level reserve officers training corps unit. So, okay, let's see. I'm trying to see if there's one for the Rhode Island school. Marine fighter pilots must undergo the longest training of. Hold on. Naval pilots take part in a 6-week air indoctrination course at Naval Aviation Schools Command in Florida, followed by primary flight training.
Which doesn't give you a time frame on primary flight training.
In a 6-week air indoctrination course.
But you said followed by
primary flight training,
which could be God knows how long. 22
weeks of primary flight training for a Marine Corps pilot, and that's the longest.
Okay.
So 22 weeks is the longest. So it's shorter than that.
And
but it doesn't say here in this article.
That's the best weeded out through all the other courses.
Yeah. And then after the 22 weeks, it's 14 to 49 weeks of advanced flight training in Florida, Mississippi, or Texas.
So a long time.
A long time.
Yeah. So that is,
Yeah, but then again, if it's only like, so he doesn't need to know how to dogfight per se, right?
You still gotta fly the plane.
Exactly.
It's not like you just take off the aircraft carrier because that launches you off the thing. I get it. It does it for you, but you still have to fly the plane after.
And I think you're also forgetting that he still has his pilot license.
It's a propeller plane versus a twin-engine jet plane.
Again, pilot license is pilot license, so he knows some things.
It's not the same thing.
You don't know that.
That's like saying a Bolton Field pilot could fly a fucking fighter jet.
If you give him some time and a quick, like, hey, this is how you land and how you fly, it could take a couple months.
Okay.
Well,
I do not agree with you.
Again, prove me wrong.
Those pilots in fighter jets are the best of the best.
You're right, but then again, prove me wrong.
Okay.
It's Tom Cruise in a movie.
Yeah.
I'm sure this.
There's definitely Tom Cruise in a.
Pilot's license, your instrument rating, those kinds of things. There's different levels.
Which he might have. He's a crazy bastard like that. You don't know. Anyway, moving on.
It's like Area 51 all over again.
Sorry, Bob Lazar.
Yeah.
Much. No, Tom Cruise did it. I swear to God, I saw it. I swear to God, I saw him do it. I was there.
Oh, bastard. Anyway, final one is the Corvette's mid-engine now.
It looks ridiculous.
And it doesn't look great.
It's not a Corvette.
It's not. Everyone
I don't even like Corvettes, and
I'm with you as well. I've never really been a Corvette fan, but a Corvette is a V8 in the front, rear wheel drive. It's not a mid-engine car. It just looks. It looks wrong. It's funny, like how you say it looks like Lightning McQueen. And
it does look like Lightning McQueen.
So damn true. I think scroll down. I think there's some more pictures of it if you scroll down on that article.
It looks ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
Look at the profile view. It's terrible.
Yeah, the profile view is not very good. Go. Yeah, keep scrolling. Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, there we go. Go through that gallery right there. Yeah, so there it is from the front. It doesn't look. It looks like manageable there. Oh, what have you done there, Todd? Okay, what the hell?
That's the transmission.
That's the transmission. That's the engine itself. There you go. The interior is kind of wild. That touchscreen's crazy.
Apparently, that touchscreen has something to do with the transmission.
It's Apple CarPlay.
Look at that. That looks absurd.
That just looked absurd. The concept drawings always look like badass, though. I never, Oh, that's a nice speaker. I mean, the interior looks quite alright, to be honest. But then again, most new cars' interiors are pretty sweet. Yeah, keep going to see if you can find, like, the profile view of it. Yeah, because it just looks so off on the profile. Well, if you keep...
How have we gone from the beginning to the end of the picture?
Yeah, I think... Oh, there we go. Yeah. Here we go. Now we're getting... Okay. Now, yeah, go. Yeah, there we go. This is what we want right here. It just looks goofy to me. It looks
dumb.
The back just... It looks like really, like, stood up at the front, and it looks like... It looks like those old...
Keep going to your right.
It looks like the old Ford Thunderbird from, like, 2005.
Like, click that one at the very end after the...
On the bottom right.
Far right.
Next one. There you go, yeah.
Look at how dumb that looks.
That just doesn't look good.
What about that as a Corvette? Nothing. I don't even know. Because
the Corvette
that looks like a 360 Modena.
Yes, because the Corvette to me is got the long swooping bonnet on the front, the
Look
long
at the back
hood.
of it.
And now that doesn't look
Someone
good.
said looks like a Corvette in the front and a Camaro in the back.
That's very true. That does look very Camaro-esque in the back.
Ridiculous.
Oh, it's just not good. That doesn't. I mean, the end it just looks weird.
Well, it's because it has a trunk in the back.
Does it?
Yeah, you didn't hear me say that earlier?
Oh wow.
You can put so the
That's
roof,
a part of a mid-engine car. You don't get a trunk. It's in the front.
The roof comes off, and they said that the trunk is big enough to fit 2 sets of golf clubs or the roof. Why is the trunk in the back?
Why are we? That just. Oh, I'm sorry.
There's a picture of it. I know there is.
I'm sorry, but that just doesn't make. That doesn't make any sense to me. Why? That's not a Corvette. It just isn't.
It's not.
It's not. So we'll move on from that. Introducing a new segment. In our DMs. Not a whole. We didn't really. There's not a lot of funny stuff we sent this week. There's a lot of factual stuff that we had covered in the podcast already. But there's a few funny bits. We'll go to this first one here. Oh, he said this is hilarious. Click on that first picture.
Oh, this is the laptop thing.
So it's a text exchange because this guy is trying to sell his laptop. It says, "Hey man, you still have the MacBook Pro? Yeah. What's the lowest you'll take? Lowest I'll go is $700." The guy then comes back dead ass $500 below at $200. Sure, why not? Okay, where do you want to meet? 101 Main in Burlington. About 10 minutes. Sounds good. Hey, I'm here. Cool. Inside. Then the next picture. Into the comedy club. This is one of the best roasts ever. Yeah, then head up on stage and tell your jokes to somebody else.
That's just world class.
That is awesome. That is so awesome. That is he just ended that guy right there. Oh, run the bot, damn it. That's pretty funny. I really enjoy go on stage and tell someone else your jokes.
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. So this
is how I envision what you were telling me earlier.
Yeah. So here, pause it for a second, Dad. So Villa played Minnesota United in a friendly at their new Allianz Field. It was a chance for American Villa fans to go see, which I couldn't afford to go see. I'm not jealous or bitter or anything. Anyway, so this was before the game. Right, yeah, what we're talking about earlier. So this is before the game. So Dean Smith is coming over to autograph some jerseys. Now, I guess Allianz Field has a very strict shirt-on policy. Like, can't take your shirt off. But this guy just took his shirt off to have Dean Smith sign it real quick, and then he's going to put it back on.
Why do they have
and then watch what happens here. This is kind of crazy. You go back to the beginning. So walks over, starting to sign his shirt. Just a nice guy, Dean Smith. Then you see the shirt right here. This is the guy with the shirt off, and then here comes raging asshole. Look at his face. He has no idea what the hell just happened.
Why do they have a no shirt off policy?
I don't know. That is just again such a overreaction and an escalation of a situation that doesn't need to happen.
Yeah, well,
it's just ridiculous to me.
They get all these.
This is what I despise is when security guards act like this.
Well, all of the security guards are people that have. That's not a good job, so they're all bitching and whining about not getting paid enough, blah 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 blah, and then something minute happens and they just blow their top.
Mm-hmm.
Like, get over yourself. If you don't want to have the job, I'm sure you could find a job somewhere else. Like, it's not like that security guard job is like some world-class job that you just work so hard to get. Like,
Right.
half the time they don't even want to be there.
Yeah.
Then just go somewhere else.
Exactly.
Like, just don't be such an ass.
And to do it next to like one of like the head coaches as well. Like that's I don't know. I just thought he was way out of order.
He probably had no idea who that even was.
And then the final one from this week. We promise with this segment we'll just send it because we just sent a bunch of dumb, funny, stupid memes to one another. There just wasn't a lot this week. I saw at least.
Don't even remember.
Yeah, it was kind of a dry week for us. More information stuff, and then we saw this. Now, Alec, what do you think of this? So essentially, the new James Bond movie, Bond will be somewhat active still. He won't be 007. He'll still be like an agent. He's semi-retired. And the new 007 is this Lashana Lynch, who, as you can see, is an African-American female. Now, I think in today's social climate, you know, I think it's very obvious that, you know, we should be inclusive to all, and we should respect everyone accordingly to no matter where they come from, their sexual orientation, their gender, their their if they want to be their race, who they want to be, who they want to identify with. If you want to identify, if you're a male, you want to identify as a woman, that sort of stuff. But I think there are just certain things in pop culture that you shouldn't touch. And to me, the character of James Bond...
They're not touching James Bond.
Well, I understand, but if... I hope that they can find a way to spin this so that it's still a proper James Bond movie, and it's not something that is playing to the social climate that we live in today. That's what I hope. This has
nothing to do with the James Bond character.
Click on the article.
It's not James Bond's character, though.
I get that, but then what? I mean, they're going to do this for this, but then who's going to be the next James Bond 007?
James Bond is done. That's what it is.
I get Daniel Craig is done as James Bond.
James Bond is done. James Bond is a character, not 007. 007 is his agent number.
I understand. I'm talking about for future movies, not this movie.
James Bond is done.
I don't think
James Bond is retired.
I get that, but will they go back and do older Bond movies with a new Bond, say like a Tom Hardy as Bond or something like that?
Is Ian Fleming dead?
Hold a second.
I think he is, yes.
Since 1960s, James Bond has been 007.
Yeah.
So the end of that character line...
Exactly.
And I think that's a mistake.
It might be a mistake.
I agree.
But
aren't
these...
Exactly. We're not saying that she could kick ass in this
aren't
movie,
these all,
and I'd be all for it.
All the movies are based on books by Ian Fleming, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Ian Fleming is dead, I think. If not, he's not really making any more James Bond books.
Right.
So at a certain...
might be right.
Right. At a certain point, you run out of things, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's like when they ran out of Harry Potter books. So the Harry Potter movies are over. You know, you do the prequel or whatever. But at the same time, James Bond is still James Bond.
I get that.
Like
right.
that's like if it was Alec Frazier 007.
Yeah.
If I retired, 007 is not my name. That was my agent number. It's like 003 or 008, whoever got shot in that one.
Right.
Like that was his agent.
Yeah,
number.
the one with Bean was 008.
It's like my number in sports is 5. Like that's my number. If I stop playing sports, my number's not 5 anymore. Like
this is the broccoli family trying to stay relevant with the James Bond series.
I would agree with that.
Well, yeah,
I would
but
agree with that.
It goes back to what I was saying. Like at a certain point, you run out of stories with the character James Bond because there's no more being produced. So you have all these movies that want to make, they're going to make all this money. Sure, I definitely agree. Like James Bond, the character, he has to be a suave, like debonair, British white guy. Like that's who James Bond is. And the Corvette looks exactly like that. You're messing with right now. But that's James Bond, the character. That's who it is. But 007, that's just like the number 2 at Michigan. Like sure, it's Chuck Whitson, but it's also Shea Patterson. Like
right.
If you want to retire 007, then sure, like
Right.
you can. But that's a perfect tweet that I saw in regard to it was some British guy, because of how he tweeted, was like, it's not a fucking kit number. Like that's what he said. Like
I could totally see how they're tweeting.
It's like, I get it.
I'm concerned about
Now,
how
if
the
they came out and
future-
said that this woman was James Bond, then it's like,
Then,
okay,
oh.
James Bond's not a woman. Like,
Yeah.
James Bond is a man. Like
I definitely. I'm not opposed to. I'll always watch a James Bond movie. I'm a sucker for a James Bond movie. I think that's obvious. I'm just curious if what they do going forward.
it's not going to be James Bond anymore.
But
Like, what if the movie's called 007? It's not called
So-
James Bond. It's just called 007.
yeah. So okay, this guy named Tony tweets. So Bond is Bond and 007 is a woman. Hey, how'd the Ghostbusters reboot do?
I mean, no one says it's going to be good.
Right.
But at the moment, it doesn't matter because this is the final James Bond movie. You don't never know what's going to happen next. And she might not even have a huge role. I don't even know who this actress is.
No, they're saying she's going to be
Like-
she's going to be the leading actress in it.
Well, you
And
know.
and Daniel Craig will be the leading actor in it. So
Maybe he's grooming her to take his spot. You know, who the hell knows?
I get that, and then that ends this storyline of Bond movies. But then what do you do going forward after that? Do you then pick up, say, like another Bond? Like I know that, everyone wanted Idris Elba to be Bond. I think he'd be sweet at it. Jane Bond.
Like, are you refusing to accept what I'm saying, or?
Yes, I am. Straight up am.
So if James Bond is
because-
retired, do you think they're just gonna pick a new James Bond?
Yeah, and just start a new line of stories.
They have for 50 years.
But
Yeah,
they're still,
yes, they
they're
have.
still going off of like
I'm
the
sorry.
general practice of the books.
I'm sorry, when Daniel Craig when Sean Connery was done, then they picked up
But they never had James Bond retire in the movies.
Todd.
In any of those movies, did James Bond retire?
No.
Okay.
No.
So it's already a different situation. In the last movie, before this one, James Bond retired with that chick.
Right.
James Bond is done being a spy. So, unlike in the past, James Bond is not active anymore. So it's already a different scenario.
So then what does that mean going forward? They're just done making James Bond movies?
Like I've said for the past 10 minutes, yes.
That's just I
So
refuse
since
to
there's
believe
no more stories left for them to do, they'd already done with the books. I don't know how many books there are, but you know, they got to be close to done, if not already done. So if you run out of stories with the character James Bond, in a story progression, it would make sense to continue with 007 because that's the secret agent and just move on with someone else if the character is done. If the character James Bond is done,
I know, but I guess I just keep going back.
Like if you did a movie about
I get what you're saying.
I understand everything you say. I just don't like it.
Yeah, that's
Right.
fine. But it's like if you did a movie about Charles Woodson and you get to the point where he was retired and the movie did so well you want to do a sequel and you just make someone else Charles Woodson. Like it's dumb because the career is over.
I get what you're saying, but like what Dad said earlier.
What do you want them to do?
I want them to do like they have done. As soon as one whoever plays Bond cycle is done, you give it a few years, and then you bring it back with a new Bond, whether it be like a Tom Hardy or
And
like a Tom Hiddleston or someone like
If
that.
Daniel Craig's character didn't retire, they could. But
That's what I don't like about
based
this.
on the current story.
I think this is a mistake that they're doing.
He retired in the last movie though, and you thought
I
the
get
Spectre
that.
was good.
I get that.
So based on the current line that you have to deal with,
Think he was retired.
right? If you have to base it on what we have to deal with, based on the last movie and how it ended, knowing that James Bond retired, what would you want to happen? If he has to be retired, what do you want them to do? Just
Well, then I guess just fuck off and not make movies.
okay. Well, it's like anything else. If
I
you have something
guess
that-
if you're putting it to me that way.
If you have something that makes money, you're going to try to continue to make money. If
Yeah.
it sucks, you stop. But at the moment, they're going to try. And that's just the way it works.
Yeah.
But based on the current storyline, with him being retired, that's what they're going to do.
Yeah. But like I think Yeah.
And James Bond has been like 40 years old for like 60 years. So like they've got to be running out of something.
That's what I'm saying. Like okay, give it a few years and then go back with a younger character and have some of the younger stories again with Bond. Yeah, exactly. I'm not saying you
Which
remake
they might.
them. That's what I'm. That's
for
what
right
I want.
now, like you're so far ahead of yourself. It's not even funny.
Yeah, I'm looking beyond this last Daniel Craig
Like,
movie.
you don't even know what
I'd
the.
much rather them remade Octopus.
You don't even know what the fuck is gonna happen in this movie.
remake all the ones with what's his face, Timothy Dalton.
No, or Connery. Connery was, remake the movie.
This 007 chick, she could die in this movie.
How many Spider-Man movies?
You don't even know what could happen.
No, yeah, I get that. I think we're at an end.
Yeah.
We're at an end of the Daniel Craig era for sure.
Sure.
But I think then you completely restart the storyline like they've done for, like you said, 50 years. They've done this with whenever there's a new Bond actor.
But they've never
I just don't-
retired before.
I get that. I just don't want the end of the Bond movie.
I get it. But you can do. This is the story
There's
of
always
prequels.
room for it.
This is a story of. This is like era of prequels. You could go back and do all kinds of stuff.
That's
But
fine.
we-
Do that then.
But there's no sense in getting riled up about a character choice when you don't even know how that character is going to end in the movie that's not even out yet.
I'm not getting around. I'm hoping that this girl does well, and from all accounts, like what she's been in, she's just been excellent in, and I think she'd be badass in this movie. And I think we're in a time socially where you need strong, badass women characters in a movie. That's fine. I'm just saying, I just don't want this to completely just screw up entirely the James Bond movie to the point where they write themselves into a corner and they don't have that.
I get it.
That lane to get out and make
But
a new
you
storyline
don't-
with a new Bond.
You don't know what's going to happen. We won't know until 2020, whenever this movie comes out.
Fair point.
You have no idea. She could die, and they could be like, James Bond, we need you back out of retirement. And he'll be like, all right. And then they could have a new James Bond. You have no idea.
It's a fair point.
Like, there's... The carriage is way in front of the horse at the moment. Like, way far in front
A
of
little bit.
Like,
But I think we can say it's not about the fact that like it's like women or anything, because we're not like that. That's just cool. That's cool. It's just I don't want them to write themselves into a corner. That's what I'm worried about with this.
I don't think that's going to happen.
But we shall see.
Because they can always unwrite themselves out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
All I know is, whenever this movie comes out, if she dies and James Bond unretires, I'm going to have my proper smug face on.
That's fine.
My Jeremy Clarkson proper smug face.
Time for the smug face.
And I'm going to have just... I'm not even going to say anything.
That's fine, because I know you take a deep, sadistic, twisted enjoyment in that sort of shit, which is fine. Everyone
As we all
does.
do.
Yeah, as we all do. But
It's just like, I'm not getting
Yeah.
what you're saying, because there's just things in pop culture, like, if they did a movie about Prince and Prince was like white in the movie, like Prince is black, like that's the way it has to be. Like, I would have said Michael Jackson, but that's kind of like, it depends on the era with Michael Jackson. You don't really know what you're gonna get. But like, James Bond is a white British guy. Nancy Drew is like a woman, like, investigator. Like, there's just things that are supposed to be a certain way. Barbie is like a tall blonde chick. Like, there's just all kinds of things that are supposed to be the way they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
And I get what you're saying. Like, they're in a time where they want to change. They could make James Bond gay. They could make him whatever they want. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, this is the time where they're going to start trying to...
I'm sorry. Could you imagine gay James
No,
Bond?
I'm just saying.
It would
like,
be hilarious. It would be awesome. How funny that would be.
This is the time of This is the time in this like society where they're gonna start messing with like all kinds of stuff like that. And I get, like, Idris Elba is a sweet actor, and I said this to you before. Like, James Bond he's white. Like that they've written themselves into that, I guess you could say. But it's like he's supposed to be a British guy that looks a certain way.
Right.
Like, I get it.
I'm sorry. I'm still laughing at gay James Bond.
Well,
Characters is like a lot of balls.
Yeah. That's what it is. Could you imagine the outrage if they made James Bond gay? Could you imagine?
Oh my shit. Oh, that's so damn.
Would be unbelievable.
was Mike Myers.
Well, Pussy Galore was. Oh shit!
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but what you that was hilarious. Anyway, yeah. So I think that kind of we're at the end of a podcast. This was a fun one. I enjoyed this one. I think the video aspect has raised our game a whole nother level, 100%. Because it's so nice to be able to, whenever we're looking up stuff, to rip it right up and we can see it, and then you guys can see it as well. So, yeah. So I think. Oh, any life advice, Dad? Do you have any life advice for the younger listeners? No. Not even a little piece of advice.
I think if you ask Todd one more time to like say something on the podcast, he might do it. I think you've asked, I think it
He
might
needs a mic, man. He needs to get involved.
He wants to be on the technical side.
Yeah, but he's got. I mean, Jamie and Joe Rogan's got a mic.
Let him do his thing.
Yeah, because it's as people who know my dad know he's a funny guy, and he's probably more interesting than I am sometimes.
As you said earlier, don't pester the talent.
Yeah,
you'll get them all thrown off the game.
That's so true. But yeah, I think. Yeah, don't be an asshole. There you go. That's your life advice for the end of the podcast. So, excuse me. Thank you again. He's got one.
Cover your ears at a baseball game.
Yeah,
cover your ears at a baseball game.
At a sporting event.
It will all make sense next week. It will all make sense next week. Which I can't wait to tell that story. It's a doozy. But again, thank you guys ever so much for supporting everything. Subscribing on YouTube, watching it. Downloading it as well. Don't forget to keep downloading it and keep sharing it and keep passing it around. So yeah, subscribe. Good Talk Pod on YouTube. Good _talk _pod on Instagram. And talk _pod on Twitter. Follow us on all that. I'm Jack _Hurley _R on everything on Twitter. Alec is you're all over the place.
No, it's been sorted. It's Alec _Frazier on Instagram, and I don't remember.
Alec _FR.
I don't do much on Twitter.
Alec _ front engine rear wheel drive on Twitter.
Yeah, that's what it is.
So be sure to follow us on that. And until next time, Alec.
Good talk.
Good talk. We're out. Done. Gay James Bond.